In February, in Charlottesville, Virginia, the city council voted to remove a 93-year-old statue of Confederate Civil War General Robert E. Lee from a public park. Then they also voted to rename the park, which is currently called Lee Park, the Confederate General. We've actually seen this across the country, right? Changing the names of schools named after racists, changing street names, and removing statues. We've seen this trend in the US over the last few years. Charlottesville is best known for being the home of the University of Virginia. And I believe this was a good move by the city council. This is the 21st century. We've been talking on the show lately, ever since Donald Trump's ignorant and confused statements about the Civil War. We've been talking about how many people in the South have been, to put it charitably, slow to acknowledge that the Civil War was fought over slavery, and that glorifying and eulogizing the Confederacy is sort of affirming slavery and racism, whether people want to admit it or not. Now, remembering history and educating people about the past in history books and in museums, that's one thing, and I am obviously in favor of that. But celebrating and sort of fondly remembering the Confederacy is ignorant and it's disrespectful, to say the least. The statue is still scheduled to be removed. It hasn't been removed yet. So Saturday night in Charlottesville, in the park where this statue has been for many years, a flock of dozens of neo-Nazis, white nationalists, racist, members of the alt-right, call them whatever you want, they gathered around the statue to protest the removal of the statue, and they were holding torches. To add another wrinkle to the story, the protest was led by none other than Richard Spencer, the white separatist, white supremacist, sort of neo-Nazi guy who coined the term alt-right. We recently actually interviewed him on the program. The swarm of people at the park were chanting Nazi slogans about ethnic purity and also, and this is just getting weird, chanting Russia is our friend. Here's the even more hilarious part. These folks would love for you to think of them as these hardcore outlaw activists that are willing to push the envelope and do anything for their cause. 10 minutes after their small protest started, the cops showed up, told them, put your torches away and go home. And they immediately did so. The police scared them, so they just gave up and left. And of course, the counter would be, well, these are law-abiding citizens. But the entire thing was just bizarre when you saw the way it went down. Charlottesville Mayor Mark Signer said in a statement, quote, "This event involving torches at night in Lee Park was either profoundly ignorant or designed to instill fear in our minority populations in a way that harkens back to the days of the KKK. Reality is that it was sort of both, right? I mean, the demonstration was ignorant and intended to be racist, and I'm glad that it stopped after not very long. But these guys wanted to instill fear, although I guess you could say they failed. They were trying to be dramatic with the torches, but then they put the torches out and left the scene as soon as the cops showed up. What kind of revolutionaries are they claiming to be? This must have been immensely embarrassing for them. And the torches seem kind of silly in a way, just kind of meant for theatrics. This is what a torch looks like for people who are watching on TV or on YouTube with us. And from what I can tell by this photo, it looks like a lot of them are kind of holding those tiki candles that people put in their backyard. Just very, very strange optics around the entire thing.